Hey guys, Raptor Tristan here, and well, you already know the drill. Today we're dealing with another top 10 video called Top 10 Dragons Caught on Camera. Yeah, these videos just get more ridiculous as they go along. Anyway, let's just start with the video.
So I know you probably clicked on this video today and told yourself there's absolutely no way that these people are about to convince me that dragons exist. And well, maybe you're right, but also maybe you're wrong. What's up, folks? Welcome to The Supreme, your daily YouTube channel bringing you the best in entertainment from some of the deepest and darkest corners of the internet. I'm your host, Matty Wills, and today's title is 7 times people have seen dragons in real life. Want to become...
No, I'm 100% right. Dragons don't exist. Mainly because we got no, fossil evidence of their existence. Not to mention, if they did exist, we would already know.
The Chinese dragon. Now, with Chinese mythology and symbolism being so wrapped up in the existence of the age-old dragon, it's no surprise that some of our content today will feature things that no doubt originated over in China. It's also important to understand that in no way are we proclaiming that dragons actually exist or that they're an absolute fact. All we can do is submit the evidence and let you all make up your own minds. So check out this first clip that comes from a newspaper publication in the aforementioned country, China. These images represent what many locals on the ground said was undoubtedly a flying dragon, much like the ones featured in the infamous show Game of Thrones. Now, do you know that I still haven't finished that series? So, hey, no spoilers. Anyway, check it out. Countless phone calls were made to authorities when this flying, large winged animal could be seen flapping over several different Chinese cities. Others who just knew that this couldn't be a real dragon suggested that it could possibly be a pterosaur, which of course sounds just as ridiculous as suggesting that it is a dragon. A pterosaur, in case you didn't know, is a dinosaur, and they've been extinct for about 65 million years. So what do you really think this could be? A dragon? A hoax? Just like every other...
No, it's 100% a hoax. Mainly because, one, obviously someone grabbed a dragon, CGI model, made it play a flying animation and put it up into like a sky background and claimed it was real, and you just made up the story about authorities being called about it. Also, by the way, about the whole pterosaur thing, about it might being a pterosaur, first of all, dragons don't look anything like pterosaurs, and also, another fun fact, pterosaurs are not dinosaurs.
Today, we can't help but pause for a moment and show you this image that was recently sent in to the Supreme family. Check it out. This appears to be a full-grown dragon just almost posing for the camera. Where the heck do you think this could be from? And most importantly, do you think it's real? While it certainly looks the part, of course, these days we can never be completely sure. So we'll keep continuing with today's countdown. But if you know the video that's attached to this image, well, please go ahead and drop that link down below.
Okay, that's obviously just a statue that someone took a picture of. Not to mention the wings are way too small to, make it fly. Not to mention you're telling me that a dragon is just going to casually just sit by a building and someone's just going to casually just walk up and take a picture of it. No, the immediate response would be to turn around and run away like hell because, when you see something that might, breathe fire, your immediate reaction would be to run away. Also, the dragon is literally attached to the building itself. It's not even like on something, it's just literally like on the wall. Anyway, let's just continue with this.
Dragon aura. So up next we've got a photograph that was snapped over in Iceland back in February of 2019. Check it out. This is a bright green dragon that appeared from the Northern Lights, which we've covered here on the channel before. doesn't that look like a dragon? For those who don't know, the northern lights are a bright display that appear in the sky. Technically, they're the result of bright lights colliding between electrically charged particles that come from the sun. You can typically see them in Antarctica or over in Iceland. They enter the Earth's atmosphere and formulate this sweeping, dancing light energy that sometimes, apparently, can form some strange shapes. Kind of like the way clouds sometimes form things in the skies that look like objects here on Earth. This time around, though, the strange and mystical lights formed this formation that looks eerily similar to a dragon. So, what do you think? A coincidence or something more, like premonition? I guess at this point, only time will tell.
Really? That's your proof? Is that really your proof? A bunch of lights in the sky formed together to make a shape? That's your proof? That dragons exist? Really? Okay, by this logic, Godzilla exists because there is a star constellation that is rarely named and is rarely like in its shape. Yeah, apparently by this video's logic, Godzilla exists because there is a star constellation that is in his shape and named after him. By the way, there is actually a star constellation that is in Godzilla's shape and is actually named after him. Just a little fun fact.
Snagged by a fisherman. Up next, we got a story that broke online about 5 years ago. This time around, the story comes from Inner Mongolia, where a fisherman claims to have reeled in actual evidence of the supposedly mythical beast by way of a 5-foot dragon. Now, I've got to say that my radar went up almost immediately because this is the first time in my life that I've ever heard of a dragon being found in a freshwater lake. But hey, what do I know? I just thought that dragons flew in the skies and not swam in our waters. But the more that I thought about it, if there was something wrong with the dragon and it ended up collapsing out of the sky for any reason, well, there's almost a 50-50 chance that it's going to end up in a large body of water. Because, well, it's either it crashes on water or it falls down to the ground. So that's why I said a 50-50 chance. Anyway, what the heck do you really think this is? It most certainly doesn't look like any other underwater creature that I've ever seen. But when you compare this supposed dragon that was pulled up from the waters to the traditional Chinese artwork of dragons with its long torso, horns, and whiskers, I mean, this really almost looks like a replica of those same drawings. Then, sheesh, what am I supposed to believe?
Obviously, that's some type of prop or statue that someone took a picture of and then proceeded to make up the story about them fishing it up out of a lake. Yeah, that's obviously, fake. Like, literally, it's obviously just a prop that someone took a picture of. Anyway, let's just continue with this.
Salisbury Ridgeback. Now our next clip comes from a news channel overseas that hit the internet just a few short years ago. In it, you can see the anchor of the news telling a story about a very rare find that recently happened overhead, and yep, you guessed it, it was another dragon. Check it out. Now, of course, we've got to take this video with a grain of salt simply because it claims to display a flying dragon. But this particular video is a bit different because the claim here was that it also was a very specific breed of the fairy-tale animal. This supposedly is what's known as the Salisbury Ridgeback dragon, and according to the report, this is a very rare breed indeed. Known to be timid, that they usually only fly at night, this footage shows one, if you so choose to believe it, flying over the cathedral in Salisbury of Great Britain. Now, I've got to keep it real with you for just a moment. I was under the impression that every single species of dragon was super rare because nobody ever sees them. I didn't know that only the Salisbury one was. And of course, this footage looks a bit suspicious. So if we do in fact learn anything else about this rare breed, we'll be sure to go ahead and share it with you all. Now, if we're talking Salisbury steak, I'm all in. But we're talking dragons, so let's move it right along.
Okay, first of all, the dragon in the video obviously is just a CGI model given a flight animation and being put into, like a sky background, and someone, acted like it was real and then uploaded it on the internet and just made up the story about it being real. Not to mention that flight pattern is very off. Like, literally, that flight pattern, that's not like how a real animal would fly. Well, anyway, let's just continue with this.
Disney's dragons. Coming up on number 3 of today's countdown, we've got another unusual story. This one made waves online back in the summer of 2012. In a bizarre event near the airport in Bakersfield, California, dragons, real dragons, were seen flying through the air by several local residents and tourists. It was with that definitiveness that I'm able to say that these, in fact, were real dragons, although they weren't necessarily the variety that eats and breathes. These gigantic metal-made machines could be seen taking off from and landing at the Bakersfield airport, and many believe that they were sent there by Disney in preparation of shooting the infamous grand movie Avatar. Of course, these weren't really real dragons, rather more like electric gliders that were dressed up to look the part. Now, Disney did come out and say that these dragons could be used for a multitude of different reasons. So maybe it wasn't for Avatar, but you gotta admit that this certainly is a strange sight. I mean, can you imagine heading to work and seeing a dragon flying overhead for real? That would be insane.
If the dragon isn't real, then why is it on this list? Why? The dragon's fake. It isn't real. It's just a bunch of metal and high wire put together. Anyway, let's just continue with this before I lose more brain cells.
Real flying dragons. So before we dive into the number 2 number for today, we've got to pause for a moment and send out a quick shout out. Today's special recognition goes to none other than Ibrahim Vids, who just the other day left a comment that said, "Hey, I love your videos, and from time to time I ever watched your videos, I loved it. Thanks so much for checking us out. And don't forget to swing on back through tomorrow because we'll have even more brand new content." So we've seen some weird stuff today, right? I know. Everything you've seen today probably has been very strange. I mean, come on, we're talking about dragons. What did you expect? But up next, we've got one animal that is a real dragon, and it's a real dragon because it's in all types of science and animal books stating that it is indeed real. I'm talking about the flying dragon lizard, which is a small lizard that can be found over in Asia. Now, even though they're technically...
Do I even need to say anything? Really? Do I? Like, literally, I have no words. This is just a fucking lizard. It's not even really a dragon. It's just a lizard. How does that prove that dragons exist? Anyway, that's it for this video because I lost enough brain cells from this one. So I'm just going to end it here. Anyway, you know the usual. Have a good day or night depending on wherever you are, and see you in the next video.